But also, I want you to know it's okay to set those boundaries. It's okay to stay within alignment. And if the people around you do not allow you to do that, that says more about the people you're spending time with than it does yourself.
And more importantly, what your core values are is going to very much dictate what does get attention. If you don't know what your core values are, you're probably allowing your attention to be on a bunch of trivial things.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 862, last week's live podcast, Finding Perspective in the Journey. Today, for episode number 863, Why Your Attention is Priceless. Alan had the idea and the story for this, so we will kick it to him.
Why your attention is priceless. So back in 2014 in our country, there was something called Deflategate. So American football is huge in this country. Kevin and I both live in New England, and we were big fans of Tom Brady and the Patriots, Bill Belichick, that whole thing. And in 2014, during the AFC Championship game, there was something happened where the Patriots apparently, and I don't know the details of this really, but the Patriots got accused of deflating the balls during the game, because that's the way that they use footballs in practice. The idea here is they make it more difficult in practice so that during the game they can win. And then, if they're used to using a deflated ball on the field, then of course they're going to have an advantage. It's that whole thing. But at the time, I'm dating a nurse. Her name is Courtney. And we live in Worcester. We live on this lake. And she had these long hours. She worked two different jobs. One hospital she worked at was Boston Children's Hospital. The other one was Spalding Hospital in Boston. And I had a situation that really, really rattled me. This was my mid-20s. So there was this evening that Courtney was working late. And the only reason why I even found out about this was because I was dating a nurse. But at her hospital, there was a surgeon, a heart surgeon, that actually got shot and killed during work, during a heart surgery. It was like this really dramatic thing that happened back in 2014. And I remember the next day on the news, the only thing anyone could talk about was Deflategate and the AFC Championship game and this whole issue with football. And even Tom Brady at the time was like, this is just a game. Like, everyone's overinflating this, for lack of better phrasing. And I remember thinking to myself, I talked to Courtney later that evening because she worked the overnight and then she slept during the day. And then I think it's like the afternoon that we connected. And she told me this story. And she was really rattled because no one was talking about the surgeon that was shot and killed in Boston Children's Hospital, because all the news could cover was Deflategate. And so the lesson here, the point that I wanted to make was our core values, I think, were a little bit messed up in that moment. Why is it that the news was only focused on a sport, a football game, the AFC Championship game, versus a surgeon that was shot and killed during their actual job? And so it got me rattled, because I think that we tend to get our core values a little bit messed up. And what you value is what you focus on, and what you focus on is what will improve. And that goes for us as a society, that goes for us as a team at NLU, that goes for us as listeners of this show, that goes for us as friends and family, and that goes for us, most importantly, as individuals. And so this episode is about your attention and where you're investing it. And more importantly, what your core values are is going to very much dictate what does get attention. And so if you don't know what your core values are, you're probably allowing your attention to be on a bunch of trivial things. In my honest opinion, football is fairly trivial in the grand scheme of things. A heart surgeon being killed at their job by a perpetrator or a shooter is not trivial. That's a really important matter that should have gotten covered. And so that's just one example of the many that I could come up with where our core values were really not aligned with what I think has real value. And I think in this episode, we should talk about, what are your core values? And what are you giving your attention to? And is there anything you're giving your attention to that, quite frankly, is trivial and is not actually improving the quality of your life and the quality of other people's lives?
I think we have to make it okay to say, look, this person, this place, this thing, this idea is not in alignment with my core values, so it doesn't necessarily deserve my attention. I've been saying this for 2022. It's the year of boundaries, and I think people are going to start setting more boundaries because more people are working from home and a lot of people are getting burnt out. But you have to be okay with saying, hey, that's just not in alignment for me. And if somebody says, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? It's not in alignment. You can just say, when I hang out with you, you gossip about other people, and that's just not something I want to do. When we hang out, you always talk about this, or you always want to watch this, and that just isn't in my core values. So this is going to be a random story, a random example, but if you have been following us for any amount of time, you know that when I'm wearing a hat, that usually means I need a haircut, and I just have not had time and or made it a priority to get one. And right now I'm wearing a hat, if you're listening to us and not watching us. One of the reasons is when I moved up to New Hampshire, I struggled to find a barbershop. I liked the old shop I was going to because I had friends there. And when I moved up here, I found a place, and I think I've been there 3 times, which says a lot. I've lived here for 7 months or something. I've only gone to the barbershop 3 times. But
Kevin's been wearing a hat often.
I've been wearing a hat often, yeah. And again, you have to separate, right? These people are not bad people. I think they have great intentions. I'm sure they're good human beings, but the conversations there are just not aligned with the person I want to be. And this is a limiting belief, but I can only sit in the chair silent for so long before I get uncomfortable or before I want to strike up a different conversation. And I'm right now looking for a different place to go because the core values, the core beliefs, the core aspirations in that shop is not in alignment with who I am and who I want to be. Now, again, Alan longer than I, but we've been focused on this for a long time now. So maybe you're not, and you're most likely not at the point where you're saying, look, I don't want to go to this restaurant. I don't want to go to this barbershop. I don't want to go to this family reunion because our core values are not in alignment. But that's what we're talking about here. That hour that I'm at the barbershop, right, is getting my attention. I'm not on my phone. I'm not working. I'm not listening to an audiobook. I'm there. I'm present. So if I can find a place that has more aligned core values, that attention that I'm spending is way more valuable. I'm getting a return on that investment. And you have to start understanding that as your time becomes more precious, as your schedule begins to stretch more and more and more, and you begin to become spread thin, you're going to have to think about this consciously of where is the best use of my time? Where is the best use of my attention, my focus? And you're going to realize very quickly that even at a subconscious level, you're way less likely to go out of alignment. And you'll start to figure out like, well, why don't I want to spend time with that person anymore? Because you're realizing that your time, your energy, your focus, all of that is very, very, very valuable. And if you're taking your attention and giving it to people, places, things, and ideas that do not appreciate it, that is something you will start to regret, and we want to help you avoid that. But also, I want you to know it's okay to set those boundaries. It's okay to stay within alignment. And if the people around you do not allow you to do that, that says more about the people you're spending time with than it does yourself.
And the thing is if you're not clear on what your core values are, it's going to be more difficult to know when you're not in alignment with them. Yeah. I remember Kevin and I, when we first started the NLU team and it first started to grow from 2 people, him and I, to 4 to eventually 8, and now we're looking at 13. We didn't realize this at the beginning, but we definitely have more clarity now. Consistency and reliability is way more important to Kevin and I than we ever thought originally. Originally, we thought it was capabilities that mattered most. We would take consistency and reliability over capabilities any day of the week because consistency and reliability builds capabilities over time. And so we only know that because we learned over time. So if you're not crystal clear on your core values yet, that's okay. The key is to get a little bit more clear. So I didn't know I was going to do this in this episode, but I think it's important. So I have a flashcard in my pocket, and if you're on YouTube, you can see this. But it has my core values on it. And in the upper right, I wrote this back in 2018, it says. No, 2019. I can't really see it because it's like frayed. So I can only see that it was in November. I can't see what year. But the first one is undying self-belief. The second one is natural health and fitness. The third one is personal development and professional development. The fourth one, this one's my biggest one. And the reason I found this one out was actually because I was in a relationship that was outside of alignment with my core values. And I didn't know that until later when I reflected on it. An intimate relationship. Number 4, desired growth to achieve massive dreams congruent with one's purpose and greatest level of long-term contribution.
Hey Kevin, Kim here. Just wanted to send you a video to say thank you so much for your help on creating the Peaceful Productivity Podcast. You know, I couldn't have done it without you. I knew you'd be lots of great help with the technical aspects of getting the podcast going, but you went well above and beyond that. You helped me with the strategy and you gave me all kinds of really great support. You know, I think the key to success in business is a great attitude, and you have that in spades. You really walk the walk. So thanks again. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Number 5, a grateful and generous heart. Number 6, radical humility in action. Now, think about it this way. Kevin and Emilia are the 2 people in this world that I spend the most time and attention on and with. They have 10 out of 10 on all of these. Emilia has a 10 out of 10, probably 12 out of 10, for lack of better phrasing, on every single one of these. Kevin, the only one that you struggle with, I think, is the self-belief. And honestly, that's come way, way, way up.
Yeah.
And so that means that your intuition knows who is in and outside of alignment. I've been in relationships. I have a friend who I adore from my past who I really love this person sincerely. I think about this person every day. Every single day, this person pops into my mind in some capacity, and I wish them well. But it's not in alignment for me to spend my time and attention on them because we don't share any core values. That list is not a 10 out of 10. They do not have big goals and dreams. They do not care about natural health and fitness. They do not have undying self-belief. They aren't really that humble. And this is still a really good person. They have their own core values. They're just not in alignment with mine. And so 10 years from now, imagine you don't know what your core values are and you're not setting boundaries like Kevin mentioned of who to spend time with or what ideas to surround yourself with based on those core values. What's your life going to look like? You're going to be spread thin. You're going to be distracted. You're going to spend time and energy and money on trivial things, trivial persons, places, things, and ideas. And you're going to regret that. Versus 10 years from now where today you go and you listen to this episode and you say, you know what? Kevin and Alan are right. Core values are important. I'm going to go write mine down. I don't know exactly what they are yet, but I'm going to write down a brain dump on a piece of paper and I'm going to start to hone and get clear. Like what resonates with me 10 out of 10? Undying self-belief, natural health and fitness, humility, massive goals and dreams, personal and professional development. If those resonate with you, that's telling you something. And I bet you have friends and family and colleagues who don't share those core values and you know it, but maybe you don't have the clarity or the courage yet to set that boundary. So that's Kevin and I's goal for you is we want your future to be brighter. And your future, show me your friends, show me your associations, show me your family, show me the people you spend time with, and I'll show you your future. Are you in alignment with your core values? Do you even know what they are? And most importantly, what are you going to do about that?
And it's so difficult because the environment, if you're in the environment long enough, you're probably going to shift your core values to fit the environment. You can try to change the environment to come to your side, but it's harder. It's harder if you don't have strength in numbers. If it's you and 5 friends, it's a very, very difficult thing to shift other people's core values. And honestly, some people don't want their core values shifted, and they don't want you to be the person to do it. So I think sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be very honest with yourself. It's very difficult, but you will be grateful you did it. Understand, and this is the last thing I'll say, we talk a lot about why are you in the relationships you're in. We're actually doing, on Friday, we're doing a relationship episode. One huge reason many relationships are toxic. A lot of people are from the past. It's nostalgia. You're not thinking about the fact that when you were 12 years old, you didn't have core values. You didn't have any core values, really. You're 12 years old. Your core value is let's play wiffle ball and eat, Papa Gino's or whatever it is. When you're that young, you don't understand. You don't have enough experience. You don't have the lessons. You don't have the pain. You don't have the things you like, the things you don't like. You don't have the ambitions necessarily. So you don't really know what you want. You don't have your core values. Understand that a lot of people are outside of alignment. And Alan and I have been outside of alignment, and something we're working on, making sure we do less and less. But when you are, just have that conversation with yourself. Why am I outside of alignment, and what am I willing to do about it? Very difficult. This is a challenging one for sure, but you will thank yourself later.
Yeah, the people who make the best decisions in alignment are the people who are most clear on what that means to them. What are your goals and dreams? What are your core values? What do you believe? And are you in alignment with that? And fulfillment is a byproduct of that. So when you're fulfilled, that's when you know you're in alignment. When you have regret and you have the courage to admit that you're in regret, that means that, you know what, honestly, I wish I hadn't gone to that party. Okay, that means you regret it. That's okay. That means it probably was outside of alignment with your core aspirations, core values, and core beliefs, or, at least one of those. So last thing before we go, Kev, I know we got to jump.
Oh, sure.
What's one thing about core values you did not understand before, pre-hyper-conscious next level, Kevin?
I didn't understand anything about them. It's not one. It's the better question would be, what's one thing you did understand about core values? Because I didn't understand anything. I never sat down and wrote them out. I never quantified them. I never checked in with other people's. I maybe felt misaligned at times, but I didn't know why. I had no clue. I didn't know anything about core values. Genuinely. It wasn't on my radar, just like fulfillment wasn't on my radar, just like understanding habits wasn't on my radar. I was living very much by accident, not by design. So if you're out there and you're saying, I've never really thought about it, don't feel bad, because I don't think most people do, unless something happens and you realize you were way out. Right.
Yeah, we weren't taught any of this, right? So, which is why we're doing it today. So.
Yeah. I have something for you.
What's happening, man?
Boom.
Ooh.
Not bad, huh?
Join us at our first live event of the year, March 26th, 2022, Next Level Live. The very first, by the way, Next Level Live ever of all time. Mm-hmm. So if you want to say 10 years from now, hey, I was at the first one, this is going to be big. No. All right. So it's a half a day. It's March 26th. And if you don't know your core values, we designed Next Level Live so that you leave that room exactly what Kevin just mentioned. I didn't know what core values were. I didn't know what alignment was. I was lost. I was living unintentionally. I didn't really understand any of this. We designed Next Level Live to where you come into this room and for a half a day, you are fully immersed with the most next level people, not only in the community, but also on the stage. And every single speech is completely catered to make sure that you leave with a specific workbook of absolute clarity on who you are, who you aspire to be, and how to actually manifest that, for lack of better phrasing, how to design a well-designed life on your own terms. And so Dr. Taryn McCarthy, our dear friend and client, she's going to be speaking specifically on this topic. So if you feel lost, if you feel like you don't know what your core values are, if you feel like you don't know what your intentions are, her speech is literally how to align your intentions and your core values for true success. True success being not only financial success and career success, but also fulfillment as well.
And maybe you're thinking, unfortunately, I am not in the area, so that is not something I can attend. A lot of people will have FOMO, the fear of missing out on that. Do not worry. We have a free course if you want to up-level your life, which you obviously do because you're listening to this. It is in the show notes below, totally free. You can take it at your own pace, and it is years and years of Alan and I's personal development journey. I believe it's an hour and a half worth of content, Alan and I in the old studio, just trying to spit straight fire. So it will be valuable, and you will definitely get your money's worth because it doesn't cost any money. Next Level Nation, you have something to say real quick?
Yeah, we have the landing page done. So by the time this episode drops, the landing page should be in the show notes. It's $97 per ticket. It's unreasonably cheap. So if you're local and you're in New England, make the drive. It's a full half day for $97. We're only ever selling 50 tickets. This is an awesome hotel, AC Marriott. Beautiful room, modern. It's going to be absolutely life-changing. We also have a continental breakfast. Sign up. All the COVID precautions are being taken. There's going to be a photo of a negative COVID test sent to our team from every attendee. We will not be selling more than 50 tickets on purpose because we want to keep it small so that we can make sure that no one gets sick. So if you are local to New England, $97 completely change your life. Leave with a workbook to really make 2022 and beyond far better than it ever has. Get around Next Level people. The link should be in the show notes. This is the first time that the link, the landing page is actually complete.
I dig it. Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 864 is last week's live Q&A. This is a good one. How do you separate good comparison from bad comparison? As always, we love you, appreciate you, grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. We are very excited to see you all on March 26th, 2022 in Worcester, Mass.
Please reach out.